Well, Donald Trump is implementing exactly what the voters wanted. And of course, the ones that didn't vote for him, the Democrats, are very upset by this. Donald Trump saying that USAID needs to end. And it accounts for about zero point 0.7, not even 1% of the federal budget. But I mean, you would think that it funds every single important program in the government, because the response to this, oh, heaven forbid you end this. And Elon Musk comes out and says he thinks he can get the deficit down to $1 trillion per year. Right now, it's about 1.9 trillion. This is what they were going to do. They were going to eliminate useless government programs. They were trimming the fat. You've got this USAID. You look into it, all of the foreign aid, all of what they like to call about $4 or $5 billion per year to government programs, really just liberal programs. You look into it, 97% of the money that gets donated to politics, it's going to Democrat causes. So obviously, you get someone like Trump that comes in here. This is always what was going to happen. This is called ripping the Band-Aid off. And so you've got the Democrats. Their people are totally synced and controlled by the narrative and by the establishment Dems. And the establishment Dems obviously do not want this. So they tell the citizens, this is bad. Elon Musk dictator. Elon Musk control Donald Trump. You need to come out and be against this. These people don't even know what they're protesting, but they get them to do it, even though this is exactly what, and you would think the Democrats, they would want to help cut unnecessary waste, but no, when it helps us and it benefits us, we want to keep it. Look at this. It says it right here. It's only 0.7% of the federal budget. Yeah, this is true. If they found this much fraud and waste in one tiny piece already, imagine how bad the rest of it's going to be. This is honestly exactly what we wanted Trump to do. Trump's come out now against what's happening in South Africa with the racism against white farmers as well. Trump does not care, and he is wielding immense power right now. And the Elon Musk stuff, they're like, well, he was unelected. Well, what about all the unelected bureaucrats? At least with Musk, it's someone that's an outsider. And that's why you're getting the narrative from the Democrats like it's World War Z and it's the end of the world, because it's oh my goodness, they set the narrative within the government for the Democratic Party. So it's like, we're getting rid of everything. Well, no, the government just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And you keep electing the same people and they're all friends with each other, so it just gets bigger and bigger and no one's going to cut anything. Well, now someone from the outside comes in and pops the balloon that's been overinflating for the past century. And this is exactly the result. They try and control the narrative through the press, but it's not going to work. And they try and paint Trump as this terrible dictator. This was always going to happen. This is ripping the Band-Aid off. This is getting rid of useless. I mean, go look at some of the stuff that it's funding, and this is exactly what I thought the Department of Government Efficiency was going to be. We were going to be able to get rid of these things through transparency. And what I mean is Musk and the department would show all of this funding and how bad it is, and now Musk is like 20-year-old kids working for him. It's very shrewd. No, it's very smart, because these kids come from an outside perspective, all analytical. They all love AI, and they can accurately say, well, we need to cut this, we need to do that. If you cut this, it'll eliminate this, but it won't affect that. It's all analytics when it comes to being able to cut some of this useless spending. And again, when you've got all of the bureaucrats that are in power that are deciding on this stuff year after year after year after year, it just keeps getting over and over and over inflated. It's like a $30 billion budget for this USAID. And again, that's 3% when you're talking about political causes, 3% for Republicans, 97% for Democrats. But no, Trump's just going to keep it. It's totally fair. It's totally fine. You know what that number reminds me of? It reminds me of the situation with Twitter back in 2018, 2020. They did an audit on Twitter employees, the people behind banning people, because that's when you're talking about high up people getting banned on Twitter and these social medias, it's not automated. It's individuals, humans making decisions, the Twitter employees, and 99% of the money that they donated went to liberal causes. But there's no bias. They said there was no bias. They must be telling the truth. I mean, look at this. $27 million to George Soros prosecutor fund. No. Trump's going to keep funding that, I'm sure. I mean, my goodness. You've got, look at this. ABC aired a USAID employee's description of the scramble as DOGE rolled up to their office. They have to remove all the DEI crap, all of the LGBT. Now you've got women teachers setting up their camera or setting up their phone to take a video of them removing LGBTQY flags and all that from their classroom, which never should have been there in the first place, but they like set it up like it's this horrible thing. I gotta set up my just like Selena Gomez crying. Let me set everything up, get people to feel bad for me. Now we've got Mexicans out protesting. I really haven't seen any liberals comment on that, because that makes zero sense. You're protesting the deportation of your people back to Mexico. Well, then why are you waving a Mexican flag? You're protesting going back to Mexico, so why are you waving the flag of Mexico? Wouldn't you want to wave an American flag and say, no, I love America, I want to stay here? I don't understand that just makes no sense. And I know a lot of people have called that out. Like, look at this, let's set up the camera, set up the iPhone. I have to remove this. It's total performance art. By the way, that's just like a weird, just random flag hanging in the middle. It just looks disgusting. United States spent $43 million on a gas station in Afghanistan that had no customers. $43 million into a proof of concept gas station anyways. Yeah. I mean, there's just going to be a bunch of government waste. That's another failed program there. People say it's money laundering. 20,000 federal employees have taken Trump's buyout to resign offer, and that's better than firing them. That's the cheapest way to do it. So yeah, you're cutting the federal force as well. That's going to save you money in terms of salary. But yeah, guys, listen, when it comes to this, the dynamic here is you've got the establishment left. They're in total control of the liberal mainstream media, and obviously they hate Donald Trump. So pretty much everything that Donald Trump does is going to be hated. I've heard a lot of liberals say that, well, if Donald Trump does good for America, that they'll like him. I think, obviously, it's total gaslighting. That's not true. They'll just say, no matter what, it's bad. But another thing I wanted to comment on, it's just something I've seen over and over again, and I don't know, I just find it odd. We're starting to get more of this, and it's more so happening in Canada, where they're galvanizing together in more of like a Republican or I guess conservative type perspective, like, we're all Canadians. Well, what does it even mean to be a Canadian if just random immigrants can come over from third world countries and not even assimilate, and you have to accept them, and if you don't, you're racist? I mean, it doesn't even make sense. But that's Canada. But for the United States, it's the same exact thing. You've got all these liberals who are like, we demand to know as Americans. What does it mean to you to be an American? You think that some illegal from Guatemala can come into this country tomorrow and be an American? It's being an American is meaningless by your own definition. But they think they can hold us. We're Americans. You don't even think we should have borders. You think we should be a borderless society. Why would I care what you... It's like these people get up on their high horse now. Oh, we're Americans. What is an American to you? But that's what they say now. But listen, you've got a situation where this was going to happen. They were going to bitch and moan. They were going to cry about all of this crap being ended. Now you've got things coming out, and this is what Trump had promised, and it looks like there's an executive order that's going in place. The Department of Education is being done with, and that's been something Republicans have been trying to do for a while. The amount of money that's gone into that with tanking scores across the board, and there's going to have to, I mean, Trump is being so proactive about trying to fix all of these issues and trying to do really like 100 things at once. It's not even 10 things, 20 things, 30. It is 100 things at once is what Trump's trying to do. And you've got someone like Musk, and even Trump explained it. You know, is it the best thing in the world to have someone like Musk have the power that he has? Well, number one, he doesn't have the power that liberals say he has. Everything has to be approved by the Trump administration. Whatever Musk wants to do has to be approved 100%. When it comes to Musk's role with Trump. And they talk about Musk not being elected. Well, Mike, Trump is trying to eliminate that. That's why he's firing all these federal employees. But Musk is not elected. Well, what about all of the other unelected people in both Democrat and Republican administrations in the past that have had roles in terms of affecting our economy and our budget and where the money goes? And this is 0.7% of the total federal budget that's getting nixed or reallocated. And it's just, they look into it and it's like, this is unbelievable. It's like $2 million for a transgender Like seriously, this is what it was: $2 million for a transgender DEI project in Guatemala. $3 trillion for a transgender project in Afghanistan. Okay, that was a joke. But I mean, this is just the type of stuff but we knew this was going to happen. It was all going to light up because it gets overinflated, 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 overinflated. The people that are in power, they're not beholden to the American citizens. They're beholden to the people that are paying them. So you knew when someone from the outside got in there and started popping it, this is the type of reaction. It's going to be immediate. You're a dictator. You can't do this. This is ripping the Band-Aid off. It has to be done. So that's what Trump's doing, and people get used to this, and there's going to be massive cuts, and Trump really wants to make a change in terms of, the United States spending, the deficit being at $2 trillion. Musk has said they can get it down to $1 trillion, as well as potentially using the tariffs as another source of income. We'll see what Trump wants to do with the tariffs in terms of a month from now with Mexico and Canada. There are a lot of people on the internet that are going crazy. How about the thing that just came out with Elon Musk highlighting something that was going on Reddit that's been going on for forever, really ever since Trump got into the limelight, but especially more recently, people on Reddit just blatantly wanting to and saying they're going to kill Department of Government Efficiency employees, the people working for Musk and also Musk. And so Musk tweeted out that this is a crime, but that is what they do every single day. People have to understand, you look at that stuff, that screenshot, it's very, very tame. That's very, very tame. And so that's why I tell people, and liberals do a good job of kind of disassociating this group of people from them. But there are a ton of liberals, and honestly, it kind of trickled over when the assassination attempt happened. But there are, I would say millions of liberals that really wish Donald Trump would have been shot in the head. 100%. 100%. And the thing is, they think they're justified in that opinion because they've built Trump up to be this evil dictator straw man, and that's through the media. And that's why the assassination attempt can also be, blamed on the media, although that's a whole nother thing with that kid being able to do that and us not knowing anything about it, which obviously is totally ridiculous that he would do that alone. I don't think anyone is that dumb, but that's another story for another day. It's more so the liberal reaction from it. And it was just kind of interesting. And you know what they did? They ended up, there's a subreddit called White People Twitter, which is basically, I would imagine most of the people on that subreddit are white, but they hate themselves. They hate their skin color. If you'd ask them, could you burn your skin color off? They'd probably say yes. That's the type of people these people are. It just is. Or if you could ask them, could you be enslaved to black people now? Would you do it to make up? They would say yes. Again, that's just the visual representation. It's just an example of what we're dealing with. But that subreddit, that the people that made those threats, the subreddit got banned for 3 days, which is shocking to me because that is that's what they do every single day. They just threaten to kill all Republicans. That's just what they do. So it's funny that, oh, now you're gonna ban them for 3 days. like that's tame. that is mild. But it's good how the Democrats deassociate themselves from that. It's almost like there's a lot of very crazy liberals, and I think Republicans could very easily get these people caught up in a honeypot. But you don't want to encourage violence and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, it's like what the Democrats did with January 6th and how that was manipulated and how they purposefully made it as bad as possible by not deploying the National Guard. When Trump said deploy the National Guard, he wants it. The Republican House Committee brought that up, but the Democrats denied that. And they did that because they wanted the event to be as bad as possible so they could gain political leverage over Trump, and that led to Trump being banned on all of social media. That's just the politics of it. But either way, guys, we knew this was going to happen. We knew it was all coming out. We knew that they were going to cut things, and now you're getting a visual representation. I said this, when DOGE, it was going to be a thing. I said Musk has total transparency control when it comes to X and releasing things and releasing government waste and what we're spending money on and how inefficient it really is. And so he's doing exactly that to get the public on his side. And that's how you're going to be able to cut all of this stuff. So we'll have to see what ends up happening, but it's 0.7% of the federal budget. And you know what? This is the stuff that has to happen, and they're not going to be too happy about it. They're going to get angry, but this is stuff, it's like we're the global donation force to the third world countries with this USAID. And on top of that, they've got something to where there is money that goes into political funds, and it's 97% Democrat. So there you go. Either way, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.